All right, let's talk about this action in the private markets. Let's start off with SpaceX. The fact that it's getting up to an $800 billion valuation. Clearly, there's a lot of demand for those shares. Part of the company's plan, just to be fair, is to build data centers up in space. Here on land, here on Earth, we're seeing a lot of questions about the data center build out. What's going on with that divergence?
It's just one of the hottest private companies in the world. You're seeing SpaceX and a couple of the big AI names exploding this year. The numbers year to date are pretty staggering. SpaceX raised at $250 billion last December. So if this rumored $800 billion round is right, the company's tripled in the last 12 months.
But why aren't we seeing the same doubts in the private markets that we're seeing in the public markets? We're just looking at CoreWeave, Oracle, Broadcom, all of them lower yesterday, all of them lower this morning. In all fairness, as risky as the data center build out may be, I don't think anything's riskier than trying to get into space. Let's just be fair. Flying a rocket's one of the riskiest things humanly possible. And then also trying to build data centers in space is going to be expensive. It's going to be difficult. And is it even clear if all the technology is available right now? Why do investors have so much confidence in a SpaceX and so many other private market companies that do the same thing as public market companies when we're seeing some wobbling in the public markets?
Well, let me first start off by saying SpaceX in the last 10 years has executed. They've delivered on big promises. They're rumored to be highly profitable right now. And just the growth rate of SpaceX and a couple of the big AI names is staggering. The AI sector is up this year 196 or 169%. And SpaceX has continued to execute. So I think what you're seeing is people are playing the long game in the private market. They're saying if companies are growing at this rate over the course of a decade, then I want to get in when they're hitting their billion-dollar valuations, not when they're hitting their $800 billion valuations.
All right. SpaceX looking at an IPO. When we look at some of the other private market companies, you actually came out with your private Mag 7. Are we expecting to see more IPOs out of this name, or is there enough money in the private market to keep them private?
Well, so it's kind of a tale of two worlds. I think there's plenty of money out there. The money capital that was raised this year alone is staggering, particularly in the AI space. But you're also seeing companies that were going to go public in 2025 had delayed. So right now, I think there's something like 16 IPOs already considered for 2026, and some of them were going to come out in 2025. And I think it slowed down here towards the end of the year.
You and I were talking actually on the phone yesterday, and you talked about just there's a small number of names really dominating kind of the value in the private markets, kind of similar to the public markets when we're looking at the Mag 7. As we look at the private markets, investors continue to invest there. Do you see them broadening out their bets like we're seeing in the public markets, or are they going to stick to those AI-focused names, which you call the private Mag 7?
I think it's an interesting question. I think it's both. Both OpenAI and Anthropic are on this race to get public. I think both of those companies have sort of led the AI pack. But one of the interesting stats, if you look in the last 6 years and you track every company, private company that got to be worth $1 billion in the last 6 years, the average return of that company during its private existence is about 65% per year. That's what I'm talking about. That's the long game. People are getting in and saying, you know what, I'm just going to ride the whole private sector. But at the very top, as in the public markets, you've got some massive players with Anthropic, SpaceX, and OpenAI.
Why aren't we seeing bubble concerns there? I know you're saying they're executing, specifically when it comes to SpaceX and when it comes to Anthropic and some of these other names. People see them or at least feel like they're executing. But why aren't we seeing the same bubble concerns?
You are. I think what you're seeing, though, is these numbers continue to put up growth rates that are astonishing for the size that they are. SpaceX's revenue was rumored to be somewhere around 22 to 24 billion next year and around 15 billion this year. To have that kind of growth rate on that base number, that hasn't been seen before. So I think people are trying to find their footing on what the multiple should be. At the same time, these are hard to get names, and so there's a lot of demand in the market for them. But we'll see what happens in 2026.
All right. We're going to be looking at some economic data later today when it comes to employment, also jobs added. Does economic strength impact the private markets? Are these investors, obviously many of them are accredited or institutions, do they look at the strength of the broader economy, and does that play a part in the valuation of these private companies?
I think it does. I think sentiment broadly does have an impact in the private market, although one of the things that we're watching is when there's dislocation or at least some concern around macroeconomics that affect the public market, you'll see some investors move more aggressively to the private market.
All right. Is there any chance we've seen peak private markets? We're just showing some charts, some incredible growth based on your platform and names like SpaceX, XAI, huge growth rates. I know you say they're also reporting huge growth rates when it comes to revenue and also users and things like that. But at some point, things just don't go up and to the right. Are you concerned, or do you think investors should be concerned that we may have reached the peak in the private markets? I mean, look at these astronomical valuations. SpaceX at $800 billion, as we hit on, OpenAI at $500 billion, Anthropic at $350 billion. These are huge valuations.
We are in uncharted territories, and so we're watching it. But some of the broader index data that we show, it's not just in these names. You're seeing the entire private market index, I think, up around 65% this year. So this is not just AI. I think what you're seeing is a very significant group of investors are moving into the private markets. And as everyone knows that's watching, Forge announced acquisition by Charles Schwab Corporation. A couple of other big companies are getting into this space in terms of investor access themes. So you're going to see a lot more participation in the U.S. private markets in 2026.